Hello, what is up and welcome back to my channel. As you guys can tell from the title of today's video, I'm finally getting around to doing my November wrap up. I think the reason why I kept forgetting to film my November wrap up is because I just cannot believe it's already December. I can't believe I'm coming up on 2 years on BookTube. And I think that this year has just gone by incredibly fast and a lot of wonderful things have happened. But the month of December, basically, I blinked and it was gone. It was busy at work. It was busy during life. It was just absolutely crazy for me. So today I wanted to finally sit down and film my November wrap up for you guys. I read quite a few books, most of which were comics. I focused a lot on comics that month because I didn't want to bog myself down with so many heavy books because I'm trying to read sometimes more light stuff when I feel like maybe I'm coming into a slump. I don't know if you guys get like that. November felt like it was going to be slumpy for me. So I tried to read a lot of comics and I checked out a few and then ended up checking out a lot. So I'm going to go over those with you guys today. This is going to be in no particular order. Some of these books were from the library and I don't have them with me. Some of them are, as per usual, in my car and I don't have them with me, but I will go over them with you guys as we go and I will insert pictures on the screen, as well as if you want to check any of these out, I will have in the down bar of this video all of the Goodreads links. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and talk to you guys about the books that I read. I'm going to start with Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. I do not have the cover for this right now. I don't know where it is, and that's totally fine with me because I think this cover is much more beautiful than the one that I have. Just the naked version is a lot prettier. This book I ended up giving 3 stars. If you guys follow my vlog, you'll kind of see me talk about it. Now, I ended up at first rating it 4 stars, but going back, I ended up giving it 3. There were a couple of things that I really struggled with this book. Now, I think the plot is very interesting. I think Laini is very good at plot and she's very good at characters. What she is not good at is unfortunately dialogue and just pacing and her writing in general. I do not like that, and those are things that are really important to me. Now, the reason why I ended up giving this 3 stars is because I did find the plot incredibly interesting. I did end up eventually caring about the characters. One of them, primarily Minya, really pissed me off and I felt like she drug the story down more than she actually contributed to it. And I feel like at the end of it, I wanted my villains to stay villains and that didn't really happen. But overall, I did still enjoy it. I gave it 3 stars. I will leave the review that I did down below for it on Goodreads, but I mean, I liked it, I just didn't love it, and I feel like I'm one of the few people who didn't, unfortunately. The next book I have here is actually what we read for the Pages and, well, for the Panels book club. I always want to call it Pages and Panels because Natalie from Pages and Panels does it, but I will leave her channel down below as well as the Goodreads group. It'd be Alice from Dream to Dream. This is obviously a graphic novel. The art in this is gorgeous. This is just one of the pages. It is full color. It's just astonishing. But essentially what this follows is Alice is a girl who's able to transport herself into dreams when she sleeps. So if she's near somebody who's dreaming, she is often transported into their dream. The reason why that is such a problem though is because Alice cannot control it. This story is very interesting. It follows Alice's aunt who goes missing essentially. Her mom is waiting for her to come back, but Alice and her family, her dad loses his job and they have to move back to where they are originally from. I want to say it's Cincinnati, Ohio. Yeah, they're back to Ohio, but essentially she's coming back and there's a bully in her school who is bullying her and she shares a room with her older brother and she does end up going into his dreams, which are often about zombies and horrifying things. This story seemed really cute when I was reading it and then it got way deeper than that. I don't want to go over what part of it really made me end up giving it 5 stars because I don't want to ruin it for you. It is a pretty short comic as well. I think this is something that you could definitely read in a day and I would 100% recommend it. I think that just the story itself is really intriguing and I want them to have a second one, although I don't know if they will because they do wrap it up pretty well in the end, but I want to see more of what happens to Alice as she grows up. The next book I read that I do have here with me is I Hear the Sunspot Limit 1. As you guys know, I love I Hear the Sunspot. I read both of the mangas 1 and 2 last month, a couple months ago. It's been a while since I read them. I truly loved them. This one just came out and I am over the moon with it. I ended up giving it 4 stars only because I feel like there were a lot of characters in this one and sometimes it was hard to keep up with them. And I just wanted to focus on my boys, but obviously you need more characters to be able to make a story move, especially if they want to make this into a longer running manga. I truly did love this though. It's nice to see my boys in like a different light. They are continuing with their relationship outside of the first 2, and I really like how they do pick up the story. And I do like the way their relationship unfolds, and I like how their relationship with other people unfolds. and just their relationships with themselves in general. I really like this. If you guys have read I Hear the Sunspot and you've been looking at this one, I would recommend it. I ended up giving this 4 stars, I believe, only because, like I said, the characters. There was a lot of characters in this one. Now, I wanted to save this for last because I hated this book. I read Elevation by Stephen King. I'll list the review that I did up above. I gave this 2 stars. I find Stephen King oddly fascinated with legs and lesbians and vegetarians, and it was just really, it was done really badly. As somebody who reads Stephen King, you read this and you're like, what in the fuck did I just read? I wish I never would have bought this. I ended up giving it 2 stars. I could honestly lower it to 1. I think that this book is appalling. Like, I'm not usually that person. First off, it's not a horror book. It is a, I don't want to say, it's like kind of supernatural, not scary at all, more feel good. I feel like this is more of a contemporary. I feel like this could have been written by any other person, and going into it, I would have really enjoyed it, except there are some parts of it that I did not like. So there are stereotypical lesbians in this book that live next to our main character, whose name is, I can't even remember anymore, Scott. And the way that King focuses on them, like, oh, they're beautiful, but he didn't want to sleep with them. He just want, you know, he's just like staring at them, just like admire. Like, it's like he can't detach himself from being a man long enough to write a book that doesn't involve that kind of thing in it. Like, you don't need to focus on that, and he does it a lot. He doesn't just focus on it once to make it, you know, like descriptor of the people that he's talking about. He does it quite a few times, and it really bugs me. The other thing that I didn't like about this story is, one, it's incredibly short. I feel like it was really rushed, the ending of this book. I feel like maybe if it would have been 300 pages or, you know, like an actual size of a book, like I paid $16 for this. I wish I would have known how short it was, and I wish I would have known that I wouldn't like it. I just genuinely did not like it. Like I said, I'll leave the review for it up above in the cards, but if you've been looking at this, just know if you are interested in lighthearted, contemporary, fluffy things, you might like it. Our main character, Scott, is losing weight. The scale says he's losing weight, but he doesn't feel any different, and it's the scale says he's losing weight no matter what. So if he's wearing like a 150-pound jacket, he would still weigh the exact same thing. So I liked that aspect of it, but I thought it was poorly executed. I did not like this book. I think I might sell it. I never thought I'd say this, but I think I might sell a Stephen King book. Now let's talk about a book that did not disappoint me when it came to horror this month, and that would be Kill Creek by Scott Thomas. I loved this book. So this book follows 4 horror authors who are basically asked by a man who runs a horror website. It's kind of like a YouTube horror website, to stay at this incredibly creepy, incredibly messed up house that has an insane past. And they are asked to stay there as basically a publicity stunt. And they are 4 masters of horror, but they are from very different genres. One is independent, one is like the Stephen King of the group, one is more of the YA Christian guy of the group, and then our main character is more of the mainstream, not quite Stephen King, not quite, you know, like the Joe Hill of the group. And I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I liked the character development in it, and I do like the spooks. It's written in different parts. So the first part they do go to stay at the house, the second part they go home, the third part they return to the house. And I actually really liked that. I didn't find it disjointed at all. I truly, truly love this book, and I think Scott did a phenomenal job. I think it's kind of crazy that he used to write for Disney and then ended up writing this, and it blew up. And I think that it's weird that he went from like kid stuff to this. Like, there's blood and gore and like crazy shit that happens at the end of this book, and I was not expecting it, but I did really love it. What did I end up giving this? 4 stars. Yeah, I think 4 stars is pretty good. I don't know necessarily what I struggled with. I'll leave my review for it down below, but I did still really, really enjoy it. I don't think that there's really anything that I necessarily hated about this book. Now we're gonna get into books that I don't have with me, books that I read this month that I don't have physical copies of. I read The Woods. I'll insert the first one here, but I read volumes 2 through 8. I gave them anywhere from 3 to 5 stars. I really love this series. The 9th one, I believe, is the last one. None of my libraries have them. I don't understand. I can't find it anywhere. I'm not just gonna buy the 9th volume. Like, I need to buy all of them. So I don't know when I'm gonna get around to reading them. But this series follows a group of students who essentially their school is abducted and put on another planet, and they have to kind of survive and figure out what's going on. Planet is a bit alive though. There are other people that live there that have set up civilizations, and they have to start working together with them. And that's really what these volumes followed. Once you hit about volume 3, you start meeting other people and meeting other civilizations. And I thought it was super cool. A lot of heartbreaks happen in this. There is gay rep in it. It's just done really, really well. The art style can be hit or miss for a lot of people, but I really loved it. If you've been interested in a new comic book series, just know that this one is top of my list of comics that I really like. So if you find comics that I mentioned you also enjoy, this might be one that you want to check out. I did also read volumes 6 and 7 of Saga. I will put the first one here. It was heartbreaking. If you are pregnant, I would go into volume 7 pretty weary. I really, really liked these. I think I gave them 4 and 5 stars. I truly, truly love Saga. I think it's a great series. I'm not gonna really go into it here because I feel like at this point I'm beating a dead horse. I've talked about it before and I know a lot of people love it. So it's a well-known series, but like I said, I'm leaving the links down below. So if you do want to check it out and you haven't read it before, I would check out that link so you can find out more about it. The next thing that I read is Backstagers Volume 1. I love this book. I love these boys. It basically follows a troupe of boys who go to an all-boys school and they are the stage hands on plays and musicals, but behind the stage where they kind of hang out and work in this like little room is a doorway that leads to other doors to basically other dimensions. And that is what this follows. There's gay rep in it. There's a little bit of spook in it as well, and I really, really liked that. It's definitely still feel-good, lighthearted kind of stuff, at least in the first volume. I have the second one and haven't read it, but I need to. But it's definitely one of those comics that just really makes you love the characters and you just love reading about them. I ended up giving this 5 stars. I thought it was amazing. The next book I read, I will list my review for up above, so I'm not going to stay on here long at all, but it would be The Wolf and the Whale. The Wolf and the Whale follows our main character. She is an Inuit. She lives in, I'm not sure if she lives in like where exactly she lives, but essentially it's about a girl/boy. Like I said, I'll list my review because it's kind of hard to explain. And her relations to the gods and her relations with herself. And it was so good, like 5 out of 5. You have to read it. Everybody needs to read this book. I thought it was phenomenal. The next book I read is a book that I know I own, which might be in my car, but it'd be Spaceboy Volume 2. I ended up giving this 4 stars. I like this a little bit more than the first one because I feel like it had a lot more character development in it than I think the first one did. You get to know a lot of our characters a bit more. This is a comic that I got turned on to by Natalie from Pages and Panels from the Panels Book Club. Like I said, I'll list that Goodreads group down below. I really, really like this though. It is a webcomic as well, so if you are also reading along, waiting for them to come out like I am, if you want to blow through them, they do have the full webcomic online. But I ended up giving this 4 stars. I really liked it. I don't remember exactly what I didn't like about it that I ended up giving it 4 stars, but I believe my review is live on Goodreads. The next book I read, I did a whole vlog on. I will list it up here, but I read Pride by E.B. Zaboy. I love this book. This is a Pride and Prejudice retelling. I thought it was done really, really well. Like I said, I'm not going to linger here too long. If you guys want more information, you can check that video out. But it was just very lighthearted and, you know, there's like a lot of dialogue and the characters are kind of like joking around, but it did tackle some very heavy things. It's about gentrification in our main character's neighborhood, and she's joking around with her family and they're taking bets on whether or not the family across the street is going to be a rich white family or a rich black family. It ends up being a rich black family, and there are 2 boys that live obviously in the house with the parents, and there's like a bit of a love triangle and like some love stories, but it's more about culture and finding your culture and being proud of it. And I truly, truly loved it. I randomly picked this up from the library. If you guys have seen that vlog, you'll know. And I read the first chapter, fell in love, read it in 2 days. Truly, truly love it. I gave it 4 stars because there's a lot of back and forth and a slight issue with pacing, but overall I think it's phenomenal. It is clearly not for me. It is not a book written for me. A lot of times in the story, you'll hear the main character say, oh, like the white boy, you know, like that kind of stuff. And I think that it's very interesting. Now, this is clearly a book written for black girls or black boys, and it's not marketed towards me. So I tried to be very, you know, forgiving with my review because I don't think that it is not, I mean, I can talk about the writing style, which is why I ended up giving it 4 stars, but the story overall, I think is it's not for me, but I still really, really loved it. So if you know of any Own Voices reviews, link them to me down below because I'd really like to read it. I can't find any, so if anybody knows, let me know. Or if you've read it and it's Own Voices for you, let me know what you thought of it. And the last book, I saved the best for last because I'm going to be doing a full review for this near the release date in December, but it'd be A Bad Deal for the Whole Galaxy by Alex White. If you guys saw when I received this, I cried. I cried 1,000 times when I read the book. I talked to everybody about it. Like everybody I know that has read the first one, I'm like, please read the second one when it comes out. Talk to me about it. It comes out in a few days, I believe December 11th, I think. I don't have my copy because I brought it with me to my parents' house because I got a signed book plate from Alex when I pre-ordered the book, and I also wanted to show my mom that I was in the dedications for that video. Well, not the dedications, but the acknowledgements for the book, and I lost it, and I wanted to show her. It is in my car, I think, currently, because I have it in like a little box in my car, because that's what I brought it in to bring it to show her. So it's sitting in my car. So I don't have it in here with me, but this book was a great, great, great continuation of the first one. The development, if you guys have followed me at all in my journey to finding like my new favorite series, The characters mean the world to me. Like, the characters feel like best friends to me. They are just characters that I know and love and like would want to meet in real life and would want to be friends with, and just like reading the pages, I actually care what happens to them and I actually love them. The story just goes on and on, like from what happened in the first one, and it keeps getting better, and I didn't think that was possible, because if you guys saw my vlog that I did for the first one, that book ruined me. But Alex is such a kind soul, and they're seriously so sweet. They sent me a custom shirt from Nyla, is like a race car driver essentially in the first one, and they sent me a shirt of basically her sponsors. It looks like what her race gear would look like. It's so fucking cool. And I'm just so lucky and that this community has brought these authors into my life and this like love into my life. And I just want to thank you guys as well. But I'm not going to stay on this for too long, because this is once again the second in the series, as well as there will be a full review coming at nearer to the release date, probably on the 11th if I can swing it. So keep an eye out for that. But I'm gonna let you know, you need to read the first one and pre-order the second one, because both are phenomenal, as well as I believe they are both on audiobook now. So that's really, really cool. I think that I would love to listen to this, but since I'm so invested in it, I'm like afraid to listen to it on audiobook now. Tell me how that makes sense, but yeah. Anyway, guys, that is everything that I read in the month of November. I am well into December now. I have read a few books so far, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm glad that I took it easy in November and just mostly read comics. I found some really, really great new favorites, and I think that's my favorite part about reading them. But I hope you guys like this video. Let me know down below your favorite read of the month of November, or your least favorite read, because I would be interested to know. Or if you didn't read at all, that's okay too. I love you anyway. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and think about subscribing, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.